Hello everyone. So chances are if you have clicked this video, you want to work on kind of loosening the hamstrings or getting a bit of relief for the hamstrings. Whether you are a cyclist, whether you are a runner, whether you're a yogi and you're like, I just feel like I need it today, then this video is perfect for you. I am a big advocate in movement, so it's not just going to be about jamming out into the hamstrings, but instead getting a little bit of movement, because there's not just one big hamstring, right? There's different connections that kind of need to be moved into and stimulated for this. One thing that I will say is try and focus on your breath throughout it all. The breath plays a huge part in our flexibility. So if the breath is staggered and we're holding tension, the body thinks we're in danger and it's not going to give us any more space or any more slack, right? Whereas if we can breathe fully into postures, it just means that the body knows that, okay, I might be uncomfortable, but Sarah's chilling here, so let's give her a little bit more room, a little bit more slack. And that is it. We're going to work from the ground up, so it's going to be pretty chill, less chill, pretty intense, and then go on to the left side, and then we're done. So please join me on your backs, on your mats. So lying just completely flat on the mat. Tuck the tailbone under, make sure that lower back is just nice and grounded. We've got a nice length through the spine. We're going to work into that right leg first. So bring the left knee in towards the glutes. Let that be a kind of support. And we're going to send that right leg up towards the sky. So for some of you, it might be here, here, or here. If it feels out here and that the hip flex is activating, you can bring a strap or let it kind of rest on a wall. So wherever you are, just actively hold the leg in the air for now. And we're going to work in towards the toes. So take an inhale to point the toes. Exhale, flex the foot, feel the hamstrings kind of lengthen and react. A few more times. Big breath in, toes point. Exhale, flex it back. One more, big breath in. Exhale as you flex. Maybe interlace the fingers behind the back of the thigh, just so we've got a little bit of weight. It doesn't need to be tugging. And if your hamstrings are super stiff, you can add that slight bend in the knees. And just begin to circle the foot and the ankle. So the reason I ask you to do this is our hamstrings are in our back line, right? And actually our plantar fascia on our feet connects to the line of the hamstrings. So if you want more of a flexibility tip, start rolling out the bottoms of your feet. Good. And then wherever you are, flex the toe back, hold it there. Slight pressure in towards the back of that right leg. Notice if the leg wants to turn out or in. Try and hold it central and breathe there. Hold in. For 3. Keep flexing, pushing the heel up towards the ceiling. For 2. And 1. Slowly begin to bend the knee. Good. The right foot's going to come down towards the floor. Bring the hands behind you. Right foot comes down, and as it does, we're going to swing that left knee behind us, and we're going to come in towards a low lunge. Flex the left toes, so the feet are still hip-width distance away, even though they have more length in between them. And then we're going to bring that right hip back in towards space, finding a half split. Try and lengthen the spine forward here, so the knee can bend, the hands can be on blocks or a book. And everyone, I want you to bring a slight bend in the knee, and think about pushing the heel in towards the ground and pulling that heel back in space as you send that left thigh in towards space as well. So you're going to feel that activation in the hamstring. We're going to add a little bit of spinal movement because everything's connected. So take an inhale, roll the shoulders back, heart forward. And then exhale to push and round the floor away. Good. So the inhale, we're breathing into that intensity. We're visiting it there. And the exhale, we're rounding and pushing the floor away. 2 more times. Big breath in, coming forward. Breath out, sending it back. Perfect. Now this time, as you come forward, that intensity is going to feel a little bit more familiar. I want you to hold it here. And now we're going to start moving the foot. So we're going to take the foot to the outside of the mat. Good. And then bring it back to center and bring it towards the inside of the mat. So notice if you're letting the hip do this work. And as much as you can, try and isolate the movement to come from the top of the leg, right? So it's just that femur that's rolling into the socket that's kind of moving the leg from an internal to external position and getting in all the juicy lines of the hamstrings. There's going to be one spot that you're like, oh my God, what is that? a spot that you don't want to hold, but that's a spot that needs the most love, so hold it there. Breathe into it, heart forward. You can soften the elbows to go deeper. And again, use the breath. This is when we start to breathe heavy, when we notice any tension we're holding in the body, and if we can soften. Holding for 3, for 2, and 1. Slowly bring it back through center. Bend back through that right knee. Right foot comes down on the floor, and using the hands, we're going to hop that left foot in and bring the left foot to kind of like 45 degrees. So we've only got maybe a space of half a meter. And as we are here, we're going to pull that right hip back, heart forward. Again, we can come onto blocks. We can keep reaching forward and try and get to a spot where the spine is nice and long. Right hip pulls back, heart pulls forward. Option 1, you're staying here if you're feeling a lot. Option 2, you can flex the right toes back, enabling you to pull that right hip into space a little bit more. Take a breath in. Notice if there's tension in the neck, dropping the chin a little bit. Take one more breath. If you're shaking, so am I. And then slowly release. Bring the right foot down towards the floor. Perfect. Bend through that right knee. Left knee comes back onto the ground. Take that right leg back in towards space. Give it a bit of a shake. I know you're going to feel it. And then we need to do all of that on the left-hand side. So returning down on towards our backs. And using this position as we lie down as a kind of reset and reflection. So just notice now the difference between the left and right. It might just be in the hamstrings, it might be in the inner legs, you might feel it in the lower back as well. So moving from a neutral position, spine long, lower back pushing in towards the floor, bending that right foot, left leg goes high. Good. Flexing the toes back in towards the face. And then pointing the toes up towards the sky. Twice more, just getting into the backs of the legs. Exhale to point. A little bit of ankle mobility for you as well, especially if you run it, it's going to be good. Point the toes. Flex the feet back towards you, and then give me a few ankle rolls. One ankle might feel a little bit better than the other. I know my left one feels a little bit more sticky. Good. And then when you're ready, hands just place behind that left thigh. Shoulder blades are down. We're flexing the toes. That knee can soften. We're breathing length into the hamstring as we energetically send the heel up. So there's only tension in the place that I'm stretching. I'm still breathing freely. I'm still talking freely. And my shoulders are nice and soft. Good. Taking one more breath in. Big breath out. And then slowly begin to bend that left knee. We're going to come up into that low lunge. So left leg extends out in front of you. Coming in, right foot comes behind you, right knee on the ground. You can place a pillow underneath it if you wish, and then straighten that left leg up. Good, flexing the toes. Back knee is in line with the hip, so try not to sink back too much. Again, you can bring the floor up to you and use blocks if you need it. Flex the feet, you can soften the knee. Pull that left heel back, right hip forward. We're activating in, lengthening. So activating in the contraction to develop strength and not just weak hamstrings, yeah? Take an inhale, heart forward, look forward. Exhale to round, push the floor away. Breath in to come forward, breathing into the intensity. Breath out to push and round. One more time, inhale, bringing it forward. Exhale to round, perfect. Now as you inhale, come forward, straight spine. We're going to hold it here. Softening the elbows, heart is lifted. And now from here, begin to shake. Dropping the foot to the outside of the mat, dropping the foot towards the inside of the mat. Again, isolating that movement to happen from the top of the hip, and we're not taking both hips from side to side, right? It's just the leg doing its job and moving as much as it can in that hip socket. Find the spot. the spot individual to you that feels a little bit like, oh, are you really asking me to hold there? Yes, I am. Heart forward, try not to round through the spine too much, and breathe. Hold in for 5. We got this. Still keep pulling the heel back for 4, for 3, for 2, and 1. Bring it back through center. Bend back through that left knee. Let the hands support you as you lift that right leg. Bring it in 1/2 meter from that left foot. Heel comes down, square the hips off. Bring those blocks, those books, those pets to lean on if you need to. Perfect. Nice straight spine. And think about the belly coming down towards the thigh first. Instead of just rounding and trying to get the crown of the head down, think belly. So we're compressing over that thigh. Option to stay. Option to lift that left heel up, pull that left hip back in towards space, and breathe. Remember, no tension in the neck. We're not craning it up. We're just keeping length through that whole spine. We're breathing for 5, for 4, for 3, 2, and 1. Release, step forward. Give it a little bit of a shake, and perfect. A nice, easy-ish and quick hamstring release for you all. So don't forget to subscribe for more. And I'll see you all soon.